Hey guys, how's it going? It's March here. Just wanted to make a quick video covering my repause technique that I've been talking about with a few people, especially in my channel. Basically, it's a technique you can do with a 6-button Genesis controller that allows you to repause do a 2-frame repause pretty consistently. And that is the fastest possible repause because the button, if the button is pressed on 2 consecutive frames, then the game will just register it as one press. So this is the fastest possible repause. So to do it, you can see I'm kind of brushing my fingers over the start button, press it twice quite quickly. I'm doing that. I'm using this top ridge as a guide for my middle finger, and my index finger is just kind of nestled up against the side of the start button. So this is a technique that I've been working on for kind of a while. I made a video about it a while ago, but I didn't release it because I wanted to prove that it had practical applications and that you could get it fairly consistently. In my runs, I feel like I get it pretty consistently. I feel like right now it's going to be less consistent just because I'm talking about it and talking about how consistent it is and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to do our best here. So the way that this fails is you can do it too fast, so you can do it on subsequent frames, and then it will only register as one start input. You won't get both. That's the reason for this gap here, is to ensure that there's plenty of time between the first and second press so that 2 frames pass instead of just 1. And then the other thing is sometimes you do get 3 frames. Typically, you'll want to aim for like the later end of 2 frames, which means that when you mess it up, you'll get 3 frames instead. And in most all of the uses I have for this, getting 3 frames isn't a big deal. 2 frames is usually preferred, but sometimes 3 will work, and I'll demonstrate what I mean by that. So yeah, let me jump into the game here. So this is the main way that I use this trick is here on Metro 3 Wrap. Well, first, let me just show off what this looks like. So this is me just doing 2-frame advances. Oops, just move that over. Just doing 2-frame advances. And you can see you can kind of play in slow motion like this if you really wanted to. You can also see sometimes I'm dropping it. I think usually when it doesn't work, it's because I'm too fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to... So Tails is about to take a step. There. So this is the way that I do it now. And this is another thing that it's helpful for. So if you ever pause too early and you get on this frame, it might be possible to still zip here, but I think it's like a subpixel thing. More often than not, you don't get it. So a repause is necessary here, and you don't have a lot of frames. I think you have 2 to 3 frames. So I think that was a 3-frame repause. But that was fine, because now we can still get the zip. And I wanted to show off, I meant to make a save state of it. So we should be good here. Yeah. I'm actually going to use frame advance. I have it turned on right now. So this frame you get when you do a slow repause, like a manual slow repause. I seem to get this frame quite a bit, and to get the wrap from this frame, you need to hold right for 2 to 3 frames, and then hold neutral. And so I think what people normally do is they just kind of hold down right, hit start, and then just release right, and hope they end up in the 2 to 3 frame range. But with the repause, let's see if this will work. Easy, every time. We also have, I use it here in Metro 1 clip, because I tend to get the first frame of this animation quite often. I've died a few times in good runs because I had the first frame. And for me, since I know I tend to grab the earlier frames instead of the later frames, I can do a 2-frame advance and be relatively certain that I'll still be within the window to do the trick. So if I go like that, see the smoke moved, but his foot didn't move, so we're 100% guaranteed to not get crushed right now. And then, whatever from there. That would be dead. Okay. And then we also have, of course, the AR2 boss. So right now I'm 1 frame early. Oops. Okay. I'm 1 frame early. And there are 3 valid frames after that. So to save this without the repause technique, or with a regular repause, you have to press the start button like super quickly. Like I can't do it. I've tried to practice this, and I haven't been able to get a 3-frame repause using 1 finger. I just can't do it. But using my repause, there. Now we're on a good frame. And even you can, if you want to get fancy, you can try to do a slightly slower one. And then now we're on the easy frame. So in a situation like that, there's no reason to not go for it because, unless you really think you can get that 3-frame repause, like you might as well just go for it. Now here's the case where I don't use it. So here, there might be a setup from here, but I don't know. I only know setups from here and here. So those are the next 2 frames. So if I'm here and I still really want to get the slide, the only way I can possibly get it is with a 2-frame repause. But let's see what happens here. So that time I got it. So now we could potentially do the slide. But if I purposely try to mess it up, the problem is that if you don't get the repause, you don't have a lot of time to react and still survive. So basically by going for that here, you're risking your life on being able to do that right. Whereas the other places is you might lose time if you mess it up, but you're not going to die. You're not going to. Usually, you're not even going to have a better chance of doing what you did if you didn't go for this. If that makes sense. That being said, I do go for it when I'm trying to pause here. So this is a bad example because we're 1 frame early. And basically, if you pause on odd numbered frames, an odd number away from where you need to be, you kind of can't do it. You just got to do the YOLO method, which I failed. But if you're on even frames, so I think this is 2 frames ahead, so we can do a 2-frame advance. Now we're on the right frame. Neutral, left, and we get the slide. So that's pretty much it. I have some other random thoughts about this, but for the most part, that about covers it. What I'm really curious to know, if a good player sits down with this technique, how consistent they can make it, because I feel like I can do it pretty consistently, but I'm curious if it can be close to 100%. And I'm also curious if good players can purposefully get 2 or 3 frames, depending on what they want. Choose between the 2. I hope this doesn't mean people start playing the game in slow motion, because that would be really lame, but who knows? What I really hope would be that we could use this for is if there are any task tricks out there, anything that involves hold left for 2 frames, then hold neutral for 2 frames, then right for 2 frames, very specific 2 or 3 frame gap tricks. But I don't know of any off the top of my head, but I don't know if people have really looked for them because, tasking, usually, if there's a frame perfect version, you just do that for the task. So, But it seems like a lot of the tricks out there are typically frame perfect, not 2-frame perfect. But anyways, that'll about do it. Please let me know in the comments or over Discord or however if you end up using it, if you like it, if you have any comments about it, feedback, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, hope to see you around. Thanks.